ads, employee CVs and employee resumes contain a wealth of information, particularly when it is ads for IT jobs within an organisation or it's resumes from IT staff. They tell you a lot about what kind of systems an organisation has in place. Similarly, developers love to pose questions to online developer forums. I'm trying to set up this firewall, I'm having a bit of a problem, how do I do this? So either you can research that firewall, try and find some technical attacks, or you could pretend to be the firewall vendor and call up and say, yeah, I'm just calling to see how you're getting on with our product, and somehow manage to get information out of them that way. Whois records are classic for finding names of people who work within the organisation. Maltego, I know, has been talked about a little bit, and I think Chris Gates will probably cover some really good intelligence gathering techniques later on and talk about Maltego. But it's a tool that allows you to automate a lot of information gathering, and it allows you to visually represent relationships when you look up the individual that you're trying to find out information about. So there's loads and loads of places you can look to do your passive information gathering. If you're going to do a physical social engineer, a good place to start is Google Maps. Try and establish what's going on around the building you're trying to get into, but you are going to have to go to the building as well and case it out and look for ways that you may be able to get in. So you're going to have to look for things like, where are the security guards? Do smokers congregate in a certain area outside? In the UK, I'm absolutely loving the smoking ban because everyone has to go outside the building to have their cigarette breaks. So smokers will often find a way of not having to use the front door, just using a little side door that has no security controls on it, and just smoking away outside. So you can go along, smoke a cigarette, and often go back in with the smokers, or at least start up a conversation with them. A good one would be, oh God, the network is really slow today. So strike up a conversation and try and elicit some information from them. When you're casing the building, you're going to look for things like, where are the CCTV cameras? Watch staff movements. What time do they go in at in the morning? Maybe you could just walk in with them. Is there a popular spot for lunch? Maybe you could strike up a friendship in the local restaurant. Is there a coffee shop that's very popular? If all the staff go out at 11 o'clock for a Starbucks break and come back holding coffee, maybe you could come back holding coffee as well and walk in with them. Do the staff wear passes? Do the staff show their work passes? If they do, maybe you can get a photo, maybe you could clone one. Or maybe if someone has left one behind in a lost property, maybe you could even use one. Are there any unusual ways in? So the number of times I have gone into an organisation via the fire escape, as long as you don't set off the fire alarm, or through a garage. I've walked into so many garages and just used the garage entrance to get into the building because, they often have turnstiles or access controls through the main reception, but people want to take a shortcut once they get out of their car in the morning and go into the office. So once you've done all your reconnaissance on the organisation you want to social engineer, you need to think about what's going to be your story for getting into the organisation or eliciting information over the telephone. And sometimes your scenario does not have to be sophisticated at all. I would say in at least 50% of cases, you can just tailgate your way in, particularly if you're holding a couple of cups of coffee or a few heavy-looking bags with laptops in. In the UK, people are very, very polite, and they always open the door for me so that I can go in. But more security-focused organisations, like financial organisations, your scenario is going to have to be a little bit more complex. So a good way to lend an air of authenticity to your attacks is to use the right props and to use the right costumes. So a yellow jacket and a hard hat gets people a long, long way in social engineering. It doesn't really suit me, but it suits many of my colleagues. You can pretend to be security, you can pretend to be a workman, and you will get a long way with a yellow jacket. For me, I'd probably pass a little bit better as a cleaner or something like that. So I might wear cleaner's overalls to get in, or I might look like I've got some important looking documents to deliver, and sometimes people let me in that way. Costumes are very important, and I'm sure a lot of you heard about the Craigslist social engineering attack last year. So this guy put an ad out on Craigslist saying he's looking for road workers or some kind of maintenance workers, and could those who are interested please show up the following Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. wearing a blue shirt, something like a blue shirt, a yellow jacket and safety goggles. So I think a dozen or so people showed up, and this guy showed up wearing the exact same costume, and he robbed. They were told to show up outside a bank. This guy robbed the bank. He accosted the armed car that was taking away all the money. So he took the money, legged it, apparently went down a creek on an inner tube and got away. And somebody saw him rob the car outside the bank. So when the police got along, they said, well, what did he look like? And this lady says, well, he was wearing a blue shirt, a yellow jacket, and the safety goggles. And there's 12 people standing around wearing this exact same costume. So I think it was a really fantastic example of social engineering. I think they have caught this guy now, so maybe we'll see what the real story was, I don't know. But talking about props, earlier this year the English Times published a list of the top 10 spy gadgets that have existed. So poison-tipped umbrellas are really cool, but for an ethical social engineering test or any social engineering attack, I do not recommend you kill or poison your target. Exploding rats, again, a good one. I know most buildings in London for sure have rats, so you never know if that one could be useful. Maybe not an exploding rat, but a rat with a little transmittal device that could transmit stuff out of the organisation. But my favourite one is the microphone in an olive, which I think is really cool and sophisticated looking. So if anybody knows where I can source the microphone in the olive, please do let me know. So to give you some examples of scenarios that I've used over the phone, I've pretended to be internal IT support, a freelance IT journalist. People love to speak to journalists because it really appeals to their ego. They're quite flattered when a journalist calls them up and asks them to talk, and you can find out quite a lot of information by pretending to be a journalist. And what about recruitment agents? I mean, who has problems with recruitment agents? They get access to so much information. I mean, they've access to people's CVs. Loads of people email them their CVs, which may even include home addresses and dates of birth. If you call up pretending to be a recruitment agent looking to recruit IT workers, and they tell you a bit about their current role, the types of systems they've been using, that's really handy for a technical attack. I have in the past nearly pretended to be a charity worker because people let their guards down when they think they're talking to someone really nice and kind, but I wasn't sure if it was quite ethical, so I didn't go through with that one. And I have a friend who called somebody up once pretending to be from the ISP abuse team, and the guy he called up got really nervous because he thought that my friend knew what he had been accessing online, so he spilled the beans on lots of information. Some of the scenarios I've used to get on site into offices are, as I said, tailgating, which is really easy. Sometimes when I'm tailgating, I like to wear a blank ID card turned backwards so it's got a mag stripe on it and looks like ID cards that they use a lot in organisations around the UK anyway. I've gone in as an employee or a temporary worker. I don't look like a delivery guy, so I haven't tried this, but lots of my colleagues have gone in as delivery guys, girlfriends or boyfriends maybe looking to deliver flowers, a workman or an engineer with a yellow jacket, a fire warden, or anything else that requires some kind of official looking costume, cleaner, security and maintenance. What I have learned is it can be a bad idea to impersonate real people or real organisations, and in the UK I learnt the hard way that it is actually an offence to impersonate